you.
I want this record.
Thank you. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. You are all welcome on board. Congratulations. You are now
Thank you, sir.
of the
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I could remember when the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria started in 2009, and I was registered as number 001. I told myself then that when God created man, man was alone. And today we have over 8 billion people across the globe. In the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators of Nigeria, we are over 10,000 across Nigeria at the moment. Members that are qualified members in every nook and cranny of this country. The aim is to bridge a gap of seasoned administrators across Africa. And that is why we're in collaborations with the African Institute of Strategic Managers. This is going to be an interactive session. We are going to learn, unlearn to learn, unlearn to relearn, unfreeze to freeze. At any material time, you can stop me and ship in 1 or 2 ideas. Let us learn from one another. No man is an island. So I'm going to talk through the paper. Since time may not permit me, I have only an hour to do justice to the theme of today's induction. Before I proceed, I would like someone in the house to unmute and let us know who the first management consultant on earth was. Tell us who the first management consultant on earth was. The man that gave idea that has to do with all modern and traditional functions of management. Who could that person be? Not Henry Fayol, not Frederick Taylor.
Sir, I would say that would be Adam. He was
Adam the first man
on earth. Yes, God bestowed
the
him
one that gave advice that has to do with all modern and traditional functions of management.
But he's the one that managed all the first things on earth.
Hello.
God.
God, I'm talking about man, not God.
That should be Otolito.
Adam
Otolito.
No, not of
Otolito.
It is there in the Bible. I hope we have professional pastors in the house.
I would say it's Frederick Winslow Taylor.
Yeah?
I would say Frederick Winslow Taylor.
Is Frederick Winslow Taylor in your Bible?
Abraham Maslow.
You said first.
The first management.
I would say Moses. Moses is in the Bible.
Moses, no, Moses, but you are very close to getting
Abraham.
Not Abraham, not Noah, not Isaac, and not Prophet Muhammad.
Then Jacob.
It should be Adam.
Should be Adam. Adam is the first man, was the first man, not the man, the first man that gave management advice. So somebody said, Moses, I want you to go a little bit higher than
Joseph.
Jesus Christ.
Is he Paul then?
Jesus Christ.
Joseph.
When this man came and this man advised a particular person, he told him, look, because that man he advised was operating as a one-man manager. Just the way some of us are still operating till date.
Okay.
No transfer. He now look at this.
Moses in-law. Moses in-law.
He told him, look, if you continue this way, you get home and become useless to your family. Why not you
Moses in-law.
laws and ordinances? You can't be there to give approvals.
Aaron.
Jethro, Moses-in-law.
Moses-in-law, Jethro.
Jethro, Moses-in-law.
That's right.
It's like I've given enough expo, so I'm not surprised. We have professional pastors in the house. Moses' father,
Abraham servant.
yeah, he came and met Moses operating as a one-man manager. He now looked at the style, just the way some of our leaders are still operating till date. 365 days, no leave, no transfer. You see them, when they are going home, they carry their office to their homes. Nobody can go near them, not even their wife or children. So you can see that that was the style Moses was using. He was operating as a one-man manager. He was doing things by himself. No delegation. No, he was not grooming successor. And so what have you? When the father-in-law, Jethro, the father-in-law, the name is Jethro in the Quran, in the Bible, but in the Quran, we know he's known as Prophet Shuaib, alayhi salam. He came from the land of Midiana. That is why there's a verse in the Quran, وَإِلَّا الْمِدْيَانَ أَهُمْ شُعَيْبًا. So you can see that Jethro, when he saw the style of Moses, he called him, say, son, if you continue this way, you wear out easily. You get home and become useless to my daughter. Why not choose among men leaders? Teach them laws and ordinances. Let them be educating over lesser matter, while you be there to give approvals. That advice by Jethro turns out to be the first advice given by the first management consultant on earth. You can see that he taught us about planning, directing, leading, staffing, budgeting, what have you. So you can see that. As a professional manager, we are like the hub that rolls the wheel. Without us, all other managerial functions are useless. We are the last to be fired in any organization. At times, we die with the organization. That is why it is good as professional managers, as administrators, for us to have the little knowledge of everything. Resources are scarce and has to be allocated optimally. The aims, understand the aims. The men, get the right people to do things rightly. Square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes. Your machines, materials, and the money. We have the methods and the market. But for the purpose of this session, we are going to dwell on the four: men, machines, money, materials. The first has to do with men. Get the right people to do things rightly. Pegging the right pegs in their right holes. Square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes. Meritocracy has to be a watchword. Not what I termed grandfather, father-son relationship. That is man, no man. In the case of Africa, you see somebody that is not qualified, manning a position that is not meant for him. And there could be counterproduct, job burnouts. It should be square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes. Meritocracy has to be your watchword. Get the right people to do things rightly. You must understand that not two people behave the same way. School of conflict management talks. Not all conflicts are also bad. Some conflict will be functional, while some could be dysfunctional. If two people are ganging up against the organization, when they start fighting, you have no business to settle them. Allow them to continue. What you need is a mediator, a go-between. Since a finished good of a particular department will be raw materials to another department. So when you know that two people, when they come up together, they are not good for the organization. By the time they start fighting, you have no business to settle them. Then the second M, which we have to manage as professional managers, as administrators, is that of machines. Machines. We're in the 21st century. You can see that if your organization is still using the analog style, you could be left alone. Remember that we are in a world of competition. Our competitors are not going to bed until we are already sleeping. That is why if you must go to bed, go with one eye closed. Your machines have to be in line with modern specifications. We're using the digital style now. If you are still operating like the days of Abascos, what do you think will become of your operations? Remember, they are competitors. Others in the same industry with you are watching you. They don't go to bed until you're already sleeping. That is why your machines have to be in line with modern specifications. According to the research, this year, in 2025 alone, over 87 million jobs will be lost, while another 97 million jobs will be created due to artificial intelligence and automations. You can see with your AI now, you can do everything. What you need is to prompt the AI to get to arrive at thought-provoking solutions. I can now do the job of 10, 20, 30 people in the organization. I can do them within in one day. So there are many jobs that could be lost. Those that will be relevant are those who do the automations and those who operate the AI. We use that in every discipline now, in the areas of marketing, in the areas of advertisement, in the areas of everything, even in our educational sector now. If I'm a teacher now and I have to use my materials or my outline to set exam questions now, I should be able to prompt them. And I can direct my AI to give me to bring out 1,000 questions from that area of specifications. And from there, you get what you are doing. Unlike you start writing it one by one, start cracking your brain. How do I go? The machine is doing it for you already. I call that AI assisted. The AI is a robot. It cannot just come and start dishing out solutions. You must learn how to prompt it too. You prompt to get to arrive at thought-provoking answers. In the areas of marketing, you can use it to fine-tune whatever you are sending out. If you don't know what you are doing, it is not for you. The AI has to assist you in your operations. If you are still waiting, you will write and cancel, you edit here and there, left, right, center. Then remember that they are competitors. They will always be far ahead of you. Your machines have to be in line with modern specifications. The third M, which we have to manage as professional managers, is that of money. The life wire of every organization is finance. Even the Bible said it, that money answereth all things. According to the Bible, money answereth all things.
All things.
It is not only the Bible, it is also there in the Quran. In Surah Al-Kahf, Al-Malu wal-Banuna zinnatul hayata dunya. The money and children are the beauty of this world. The life wire of every organization is finance. That is why the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 1990, as amended, stated that all information that will assist users of financial statement in assessing the viability, liquidity, and profitability of a company must be stated in a clear, logical, and understanding manner. For users of accounting information, we have the stakeholders, the employees, to whom much is expected, much is given. They are interested on salaries, wages, and other personnel costs. The employees. Providers of capital are also stakeholders for interest and dividends. Government is also a stakeholder in what we do for tax, and the business itself for maintenance and expansion. That is why we must understand the cash flow system of our organization, the flow of funds in and out of the organization, how the cash is generated and utilized. Must understand the cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from financing activities, and cash flows from investing activities. That is why it is good for us as professional managers to understand the cash flow system of our organization. That is the flow of funds in and out of the enterprise, how the cash is generated and utilized. The last M I would like to treat is that of materials. That is the stock level in the warehouse. The stock level in our warehouse. Whether you are in the ministry, parastatals, whichever sector you are, you must understand the stock level. The tools you are using to achieving results, you must understand the level you have them. We have the maximum stock level, we have the minimum stock level, and we have the reorder level. The maximum stock level is the level which stock should not be allowed to rise above. That level you should not allow your stock to rise above is called the maximum stock level. Take for instance, in our universities or in our ministries or parastatals, we need 20 cartons of papers every month. If at the beginning of the month, like 1st of September, you have it 20, it shows that you are operating at a maximum level. The maximum level is also the level you should not allow your stock to rise above. If it is 20 that is your maximum, get that 20 at the beginning of the month. That is your maximum level. Don't allow it to go above that. By the time you allowed it to fall, after maybe about 2 weeks thereafter, you now have it maybe 10 cartons remaining. That shows you are already operating at a reorder level. Remember, 20 is our maximum. By the time it falls to 10, we're already operating at a reorder level. That is the level we should initiate action for fresh supply. The reorder level is that level one must initiate action for fresh supply. That is when you call your customers. You call people, your suppliers. You look at the quality, you look at the quantities, you look at the lead time, and what have you. Is a reorder level. Is that level one must initiate action for fresh supply. By the time you allowed it to fall from 10 to 5, from 10 to 5, that is 20 maximum, 10 reorder, now 5, which is it is now known as the minimum stock level. The minimum stock level is that level you should not allow stock to fall below. When you allow your stock to fall below 5, then you are in trouble. Let me take it one after the other. The maximum level is the level stock should not allow to rise above. When you do that, you are tying down that there will be increase in the cost of warehousing, You are tying down your capital, cost of capital will increase, then there could be breakages, wastages, privileges, and what have you. Then the minimum, the other level is the level one must not, one must initiate action for fresh supply. If you allowed it to come down to 5, as illustrated earlier, which is now your minimum stock level, what will become of your organization when there is COVID-26 or COVID-25 by the corner? Remember the last COVID. Every nook and cranny of the world was in total lockdown. What do you think will become of your company if there's another COVID tomorrow and you have been operating at minimum stock level? Remember, this minimum stock level is that level which one must not allow stock to fall below. There's COVID-25, and every nook and cranny of the world again, God forbid. Though that may not be the last COVID, may not be the last one, because that is bioterrorism. People are in their lab formulating, just like the antivirus we have. Someone has the antidote, the virus in our system. So the antivirus company are also there. By the time you are bugging, they will come out with something to debug, and it is a win-win. Everyone will be happy. So they are creating more virus. The viruses will spread any moment from now, and every nook and cranny of the world will be in total lockdown again. So it is business for some people. If you're operating at a minimum level and there's COVID-25 or 26 tomorrow, there could be disadvantages. That is not good for your business. Remember the disadvantages. One of that is loss of goodwill. The fixed cost will be there on your neck. You must settle, irrespective of whether there's an atom of production or not. Remember, during our former late President Buhari regime, Kaduna refinery of NNPC incurred losses to the tune of 65 billion when a single barrel was not even dropped. So you can see that. That was the cost of idle production. It can also lead to loss of goodwill. Your customers will now move to your competitors, and not all of them will return back to your business. Loss of customers. It can also lead to the closure of your organization. Since you can no longer produce, you now find yourself you have loans to settle, and suppliers to pay. If you cannot meet up with such, then you find yourself in the state of insolvency. An official receiver will be appointed, and there shall be public examination for you to explain to the world why you are in that state of insolvency. Is it as a result of your recklessness or carelessness in your management of affairs, or as a result of forces beyond your control? The world will need to know that, and that is why we have the public examination of a debtor. At the end of the day, one becomes a bankrupt, and there are so many disadvantages. You cannot even become a councillor. Nobody, like in the north, nobody will ask you to become the Miangwa. You cannot become even a community leader. So you can see that because you cannot manage your affairs. How can you carry people along? So you can see that I've been talking outside what we have here, but let us come back to, because not all of us are from management background. If you ask someone, all of us will tell you we are all managers, but we need to understand better so that when we are confronted with challenges in our various organizations, we'll know how to surmount them. We'll know how we want to groom successors. We know how to manage resources that are scarce. If you ask someone, what is management? All of us will tell you we are all managers. So let us understand what management is all about. To my own understanding, practical understanding, management is when 2 or more people come together to roll a stone. When 2 or more people come together to roll a stone, and it is being carried out successfully, the management has taken place. When we come together to start from somewhere and arrive at a destination, once we get there successfully, it shows that management has taken place. So let us now go back to the paper. What is management? Management is a universal phenomenon. It is a very popular and widely used term. All organizations, business, political, cultural, or social are involved in management because it is the management which helps and directs the various efforts towards a definite purpose. According to Harold Kunz, management is an art of getting things done through and with people in formally organized groups. When you get things done through people in an organized group, management has taken place. Management is an art of creating an environment in which people can perform and individuals can cooperate towards attainment of group goals. You can see, it is an art of creating an environment. That environment has to be conducive. If the learning environment, the Zoom environment we are in now is noisy, we allow everybody to unmute everybody to receive all the backgrounds, then you will now see that the aim of coming here today could be defeated. That environment has to be conducive so that people can operate towards the attainment of group goals so that the superordinate goals of the organization can be achieved. According to F. Taylor, management is an art of knowing what to do, when to do, and see that it is done in the best and cheapest way. Knowing what to do, how to do, and takes plan.
Oh, no. I'll draw his attention now. He's muted and he's not aware. I'll draw his attention straight away.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, he's back. All right.
Sorry. Okay, let me rewind. Management, you can see when 2 or more people come together to roll a stone, management has taken place. And according to Harold Kunz, he's telling us that when we get things done through people, management has taken place. And that environment has to be conducive. If the learning environment we are in now is not conducive, then there's no how we can achieve meaningful results. That environment has to be conducive. And according to F.W. Taylor, according to him, management is an art of knowing what to do, when to do, and see that it is done in the best and cheapest way. Knowing what to do, how to do, and takes planning. When you plan to fail, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When you fail to plan, you stink. And when you stink, you sink. When you fail to plan, you stink. And when you stink, you sink. You must plan where you are presently and where you are hoping to be. How do you get there? Are the resources in parity with the agenda? You must understand your mission and vision statement. This is where I am presently, and where am I hoping to be? How do I get there? You must understand that. Therefore, we can say that good management includes both being effective and efficient. Being effective means doing the appropriate task, fitting the square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. Being efficient means doing the task correctly at least possible cost with minimum wastage of resources. We have the levels of management. Let us go straight to the diagram. We have the top level, we have the middle level, and we have the low level. The top level, that is where you have the board of directors, the managing directors, down to the administrative manager. Then the middle level managers, that is where you have the executors. They are called the executors. They execute the policies formulated by those of the upper echelon, by the strategic managers. We call them they are the tactical managers, the line managers. Then the low level, these are the operational managers. That is where you have the foremen, the supervisors, the sectional officers, the sectional heads, and the superintendents. We have their levels. Let us see the role of top management as summarized below. Top management lays down the objectives and broad policies of the enterprise. They are the conceptual thinkers. They come together and say, this is what we want to do. They come up with their ideas. They are creative. They come up with ideas that could stand the test of time. They lay down the objectives and broad policies of their organization. We call them they are called the strategic managers. They also issue necessary instructions for preparation of department budget, procedure schedules. They ensure that the resources are in line with what is on ground. They also prepare strategic plans. That is the long-term plan and policies of the enterprise. They also appoint the executives. That is, they appoint middle-level managers. That is the departmental managers. These are the HODs. It also controls coordinates activities of all departments. That is why they are known as the administrative manager. That is why you must have the little knowledge of everything. That is why you must understand that resources are scarce and has to be allocated optimally. By getting the right people, pegging the right pegs in their right holes. Square pegs should be in square holes. Round pegs should be in round holes. It is also responsible for maintaining a contact with the outside world, provide guidance and directions. The top management is also responsible towards the shareholders for the performance of the enterprise. Then we have the middle level managers. These are the branch managers, departmental managers. They constitute this level. They are the executors of policies formulated by those of the upper echelon. They are responsible to the top management for the functioning of their department. They devote more time to organizational and directional functions. Let us, their roles now. Their role can be emphasized as they execute the plans of the organizations in accordance with the policies and directives of top management. You can see these are the executors. Whatever comes from the top management, they execute it. They make plans for the subunit of the organization. Every manager is in charge of his unit. The account manager must make sure that all the books are balanced. He balances them. The purchasing man will look into the stock level in the warehouse. Is he operating at maximum level, minimum level, or the reorder level? You must understand that. Then the production manager will look at the quality, the quantities, and the lead time. So it is like that. They participate in employment and training of lower level management. They interpret and explain policies from top level management to lower level. They are responsible for coordinating the activities within the division or department. It also sends important reports and other important data to top level management. They evaluate performance of junior managers, that is performance appraisal. By so doing, they can easily understand those that are to go on trainings, those that can be elevated to the next rank, and so forth and so on. They are also responsible for inspiring lower level managers towards better performance. You inspire the people working with you. As a good leader, you must be a good listener. Even if somebody is telling you he's talking nonsense, remove the NO from the nonsense and pick the sense. You have to be a good counselor. You motivate to your people, your subordinates. You delegate functions to them. You know, as a leader, it is good for you to use all the to be a situational leader, be a situational manager. You counsel them. You motivate them. You delegate duties to them so that they can aspire to be in your position by the time you will no longer be in the organization. Effective delegation begets effective succession plan in the organization. Then we'll move to the lower level of management. This level is known as supervisory, the operative level of management. It consists of supervisors, foremen, section officers, superintendents. According to R.C. Davis, supervisory management refers to those executives whose work has to be largely with personal oversight and direction of operative employees. Their activities include assigning of job and tasks to various workers. They do that on daily basis. They assign to various workers. Today, this is what we are going to do. Madam Z, go for this. Madam D, go for this. Mr. Y, go for this. They assign. The job has to be done. They guide and instruct workers for day-to-day activities. They are responsible for the quality as well as quantity of production. They are also entrusted with the responsibility of maintaining good relations in the organization. They communicate workers' problems, suggestions, and recommendatory appeals to the higher level, and higher level goals and objectives to the workers. It is a symbiotic arrangement. You will scratch my back, I scratch your own. They help to solve grievances of workers. Remember, not all conflicts are bad. Some could be functional. They supervise and guide their subordinates. They are also responsible for providing training to the workers. You train them on the job. They arrange necessary materials, machines, tools for getting things done. They prepare periodic reports about performance of the workers. They ensure discipline in the organization. They also motivate workers. They are the image builders of the enterprise. We'll now move to the essential tasks of a professional manager. What are they? The responsibilities of a manager arises out of the various social interactions in which a firm is engaged for the pursuit of its business. Here is a list of 9 important responsibilities a professional manager has to carry out. The first has to do with providing a certain goal to the firm. Providing a certain goal to the firm. That goal that you must provide to the firm has to be smart or smarter in acronym. It has to be smart or smarter in acronym. It must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be realistic. It must be an achievable task, which must have a time bound, which can be evaluated and reviewed. Any task assigned to you that is not smart or smarter in acronym is dead on arrival. It means somebody somewhere has set you up to fail. If you ask me to do a particular task for the organization and it is not smart or smarter in acronym, run away. Somebody somewhere has set you up to fail. It must be specific. It must have a proper definition. What are you out to achieve? You must learn the art of asking questions. What is in it for you? Because there's this book I read through at one particular time. It is called Mafia Manager. And I was told to always learn to ask questions. The act of asking questions. So that you don't go and bomb the wrong joint or whack the wrong guy. Ask questions. It has to be smart. It must be specific. What is in it for you? What is in it for the organization? Are the resources in parity with the agenda? If it is not smart or smarter in acronym, run away. Somebody somewhere has set you up to fail. Such task could be dead on arrival. It must have a proper definition. It must be specific. It must also be measurable. The standards, you must have your standards, then the actuals should be measured against the standards to see for deviation and how deviation can be corrected. It must also have a measurable, it must be an achievable task. If a task is not an achievable one, it is dead on arrival. It must be an achievable task. If it is not an achievable task, it is dead on arrival. How realistic is the task? Is it bogus in nature? If it is bogus in nature, not a realistic one, then it is dead on arrival. And every delegated task must have a time bound. Time of accomplishment. Time bound. If you ask me to go and do a task for the organization, you must give me the resources and the time of accomplishment. Time to report back to management. If you ask me to go and do a task for the organization and you did not tell me when to report back, then you have asked me to go on sabbatical. I will go on AWO. Because there's no time bound. You did not tell me this is the specific time I should report back to the organization. If you fail to do that, you're on your own. I will go there, relax, do because nothing is at stake. Take my time, help the organization, and at the same time help myself. That is why if a tax is not, if a tax does not have a time bound, then it is dead on arrival. Time of accomplishment. Time of accomplishment. And which can be evaluated and reviewed for subsequent operations. Let me dwell a little bit on time management, because an effective and a professional manager should be an effective time manager. We must manage our time perfectly. We must manage our time perfectly. You have to manage your time. You know, time is money. According to one of our Nigerian musicians in the 80s, Mike Okri, time na money. Use your time well. No waka waka. So you can see that. Time, effective time manager. We have equal amount of time, which is 24 hours. Yet we are always complaining of no time. If I ask Mazi in the house to submit his report on Monday morning, he will tell me, because there was no time. If I ask Mr. Adamu Buba to submit his report, or how far with the assignment entrusted to him, he will complain of no time. If I ask Madam Benita, how far with the assignment? She will complain of no time. Or the engineer in the house, how far with the project? He will complain of no time. Remember, we have equal amount of time, which is 24 hours. You have 24 hours, I have 24 hours. But yet many of us are complaining of no time. Why is that so? Always complaining of no time? What has been eating up our time? That will make us to look into the principles of managing time effectively. And principle number 1 is known as principle of planning. Principle of planning. When we fail to plan, we plan to fail. When we fail to plan, we stink. And when we stink, we sink. Principle of planning. You must plan where you are now. How do I go about the job? How do I meet up? That party for the weekend, is it for me? Should I go and meet my friends? At what time am I expected to be working? You remember, you cannot use your 8 hours to be chatting friends and families. You must complain of no time at the end of the day. The principle number 1 is called the principle of planning. Here we are expected to have the mapping of our time mapping. Map out your schedule. You must have a to-do list. If on Monday morning you wake up 5 o'clock, you move straight, you start going to your office, like those of us in Band A areas. You know what I mean? What I call the Band A areas. Like those of us in Lagos, the Okokomaikos, the Ajangbadi, the coming from Ikorodu to Ireland, or from where? From Badagry to Apapa, or coming from from Shagamu to the central business area. Then you have to wake up on time so that you don't complain of no time. From at least 6 o'clock, by 7:30, 8 o'clock, you're already on your table. From 8 to 9, you clear the backlogs of last week. 9 to 11, you go around the department. Then 11 to 12, you call your suppliers or your managers, have a meeting with them so that you can see those that are facing challenges and how you can correct them. So if you have such a to-do list, it shows that you have understood perfectly the first principle of managing time effectively, which is known as a principle of planning. You already have a to-do list. That will lead us to the second principle, which is organizing and prioritizing. You organize and prioritize. From that list you came up with, then you organize and prioritize your task. You must understand those tasks that are urgent and those tasks that are important. Remember, a task can be important, but not urgent for the organization. Not all important tasks are urgent. You have an important task, but it's not urgent. That is the second principle. What the second principle is telling us, we organize and prioritize our task. Understand those tasks that are important and those tasks that are urgent. The urgent ones, you have to treat them now so that you don't complain of no time. Then as for the important task, you differ. You differ them. But there's a golden rule. When you differ a task, you don't procrastinate. As soon as you are through with the urgent task, go straight and treat the important ones. Because a task could be important today, and if you keep on procrastinating about it, tomorrow it becomes urgent and problematic for you to handle. You start complaining of no time. The third principle of managing our time effectively is the 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule, known as the Pareto principle. Pareto principle. 20% of our effort in our organizations produces 80% results. You can apply that to all areas, all endeavors. Look critically, you notice that those of you that are go-getters in your organization are no more than 20% of the total workforce. And it's the effort from that 20% produces 80% results you see in the organizations. That is what we mean. That is why we call it the 80-20 rule, known as Pareto principle. Then the next principle of managing time effectively is for us to avoid distractions. Avoid distractions. Gather the willpower and close your browser. You cannot resume for the job of 8 hours and use 6 hours to chat friends and families. It is only in this part of the world I see people doing that. In the Western world, you have to put your phone. All the devices are to be put on hold. Put them to what do we call them? Voicemail. It is after work, you filter through, you respond to the important ones. But in Africa, in Nigeria, as early as 7 o'clock, somebody is already chatting the whole extended family. Tell me why you must not complain of time. You are chatting, you go on Messenger, you want to respond to every message here. It shows you are not busy. It shows you are not serious. And it shows you complain of no time at the end of the day. Then that will lead us to the next, that is why we should gather the willpower and close our browser. Then it will lead us to another principle again. And that principle is telling us to learn to say no. Learn to say no. No to who? To our superiors. Learn to say no to your superiors. Most especially when you have a task at hand and that task is very urgent. Remember, an urgent task, you have to execute it with utmost dexterity. If you don't do it now, you complain of no time. And when you have an important task handy, you are on it, and your superior is bringing in another important, you have an urgent task doing, and your superior is coming ahead to bring an additional urgent task onto you. If you don't say no to such superior, you could be the one to complain about you to management tomorrow. You'll tell them how sluggish you have become. That is why you have to say no. But saying no, I'm not asking you to go and fight with your superiors. Remember the first rule of 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Never outshine your master. The master is still on his feet. He can make or mar you. That is why in saying no, you have to be political and diplomatic. Diplomacy. You speak in the language you understand you. Let him know, sir, this is the job at hand is an urgent task, and if I don't do it now, it will get delayed, and there will be no time to meet up with the deadline. You extract a commitment from him, except if he's going to tell you the one at hand is no longer urgent, but important. You can step it down and go straight to the urgent one. Well, by saying no, you are not to fight with your superiors, but you have to be political and diplomatic. And when you are not ready to say no to your superiors, that will lead us to the next principle, which is called the principle of delegation. You must have people that are competent, people that are qualified, people that are qualified. You send them, you ask them to do the job, you delegate to them. Effective delegation begets effective succession plan in the organization. You delegate to people who are capable, people who can deliver with minimal supervision. Not to delegate to people and you end up doing the job by yourself. I do call that witchcraft. You are not practicing delegation, you are practicing witchcraft. When you delegate to people and you still come back to start doing the job by yourself, that is witchcraft you are practicing. That is why you must delegate to people who are capable. And by the time you delegate effectively, that will make you to free up your time. It will make you to explore into the unknown. As a registrar of IPMA today, I have people who are competent under me. I may decide not to be in the office for the next 1 month, working from home or from wherever. And nobody will notice that because you groom them, train them, delegate functions to them, and effective delegation beget effective succession plan. Those you are delegating to will be aspiring to be in your position by the time you no longer be the organization. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is forever. And none of us has been promised tomorrow. So I will leave you with the power of the 4 Ds. 4 Ds of effective delegation. D number 1 is to do it now. D1, do it now. D2, delegate. D3, differ. And D4, delete. D4, delete. We have delegate, we have do it now, we have differ, and we have delete. These are the power, the powers of the 4 Ds. Power of the 4 Ds of managing time effectively. We have do, we have differ, we have delegate, and we have delete. My questions to the House now. If a task is neither urgent nor important, which of the D out of the 4 Ds are we invoking? A task is not urgent and it is not important. Where do we stand?
Differ.
It is not urgent and it is not important.
We differ.
It is not urgent, not important. Understand that?
You differ.
Defer.
Defer.
No, you don't defer such tasks because it is not urgent, it is not important.
You defer. I mean, delete.
You delete. Thank you.
Yeah.
Delete. If a task is not urgent, it is not important, you have a junk. You already have a junk which has to be deleted.
Yes.
Then, for instance, you go through your mailbox in the morning. Maybe your company sent you, or the university you are working sent you a memo to your email, and they now ask you should go and check your mailbox. After you go through your mailbox, you filter through, you notice that that particular message is on number 999. If you want to start reading from message number 001 to 999, it will take days, and you will complain of no time at the end of the day. But having filtered through, you now notice that over 900 messages are not important and they are not urgent. You have to use the crossing sign. You delete them so that you can go straight to the one that is important, to the one that is urgent, and to the one that is important for the organization. If a task is not urgent, it is neither urgent nor important, you have to delete. Then my second question, if a task is urgent, which of the Ds out of the 4 Ds are we invoking?
Do it now. Do it now.
You do it now because you don't have time. You don't have time to waste. You do it now so that you don't come up to start this thing, complaining. You don't complain of time at the end of the day. You do it now. Okay, my third question. If a task is urgent and your superiors have added an additional urgent task onto you, which you are not ready to say no, which of the Ds are we invoking?
Delegate.
Delegate. Who are competent? People who can deliver. You delegate to them. Effective delegation beget effective succession plan. Then the last question, if a tax is important, not urgent, which of the D's are we invoking?
Defer.
You defer.
Defer. But when you defer, there's a golden rule. There's something you must not do, so that you don't come back to complain of no time.
To delegate.
No? There's a golden rule when the task has been deferred. Because such task could become urgent and problematic for you to handle tomorrow if you don't abide by that rule. And what is that? You don't
forward after your important task and your urgent task.
Yeah. Okay, you don't procrastinate.
You don't need to procrastinate.
Okay, thank you. A round of applause for all of us.
Thank you.
And let us come back to the paper. We have taken one out of the 9 essential tasks. We have managing internal and external growth. We have maintaining the organization's efficiency. Building assets for the organization. Let's get the right people. A good manager is always a valuable asset for the company, for the organization. Get the right people to do things rightly. Being innovative. Always think outside the box. Come out with the ideas that will stand the test of time. Always look out for competitors. There are people that are not ready to go to bed until you're already sleeping. Just take, for instance, in 1986, when 7-Up launched a 12 Daewoo Racer, the difference is clear. Everybody wanted to win a Daewoo Racer. And the market share of a Coca-Cola product suffered. When they saw that coming, they went back to their drawing board by launching an enlightenment campaign using NAFDAC on the danger of sugar. That by the year 2010, over 10 million Nigerians will be having diabetes. That was how they killed the 7-Up product till date. That is why you must always look out for competitors. Around 1995-96, when those of us in Lagos, we witnessed the 50 cl bottle introduced by Pepsi Mirinda. We call that Orobo. It was sold for 15 naira, the same price of 35 cl of Coca-Cola product. And every one of us, the market share of Coca-Cola company suffered. They now went back to their own drawing board and came up with the 25 cl bottle, the one we called Solo in Lagos then. And it was sold for 10 naira. Always do things that will give you comparative advantage over your competitors. In 2001, the Econet Wireless and MTN, when they came on board, they made us believe that per second billing was not feasible. When Glo saw that, came on board and saw that the market was already taken, they used a penetration strategy. They made us believe that per second billing was very much feasible. And within 24 hours, all other operators joined them. You must always look out for your competitors. Interactions with employees and customers. Employees and customers. Deliver social responsibility. Give to the host community amenities that could stand the test of time. Be a factor of change. We have the duties of a professional manager. We have the supervisory role, the change management role, the decision making, the leadership skill. The functions of management. Relate the story of Moses and Jethro. You can go straight to the diagram. You see planning. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Organizing, you get the right people to do things rightly. Staffing, get them on merit. Directing, should be able to control the affairs of the organization and controlling resources that are scarce. So you have to take that one after the other, relate it with the story of Moses and Jethro. Planning. Nigeria's dynamic economic environment. You know, the environment is very hostile and clustered. we have the micro and the macro environmental forces, the seen and the unforeseen. So we have that. We have the internal, it can be seen as internal or external factors. The controllables or uncontrollables. These are the ones a manager can control, the internal factors. You can control them within the organization, within your department, within the university, within the ministry parastatals or boards. Then the external ones are the ones that you cannot control, the ones that are beyond your control. But it is good as a professional manager to understand this, to do what we call SWOT analysis. Understand the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now we are faced with economic challenges in Nigeria. How do you come out as a professional manager? How do you move your organization out of the storm? So you can see that it is a good one. I could remember when during the inauguration venue, when President Tinubu announced that subsidy is gone, what I did instantly was to pick my system. Went straight, got a company in China, and bought about 5 sets of CNG kits for myself. So I bought it, and at least less than 3-4 months, I got everything in Nigeria. And behold, since 2023 December, I've been using CNG. Imagine where I'm supposed to buy fuel of about 30,000-40,000, with average of, even with the new increase now, I don't spend up to 50% of the actual cost. So it is a win-win. That is what is expected of every one of us as professional managers. Look around, always do what we call SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. Our salaries cannot take us home now, because you notice that so many things, so many challenges, there are so many things that are weighing it down. That is why even as a civil servant, you are expected to do business. We know that we have challenges in farming too, but there are ways you can, there are different aspects of that one can do. And by so doing, you know, you'll be smart, you'll be happy, and everything. Like in Japan, we have what we call the 888 formula. I do tell people that the very day you start working should be the day you plan for your retirement. It's not when you are 30, 35 years gone, you start running from pillar to post. We have the 888 formula, 8 hours for the paid employment, 8 hours for family and friends, 8 hours for our private practice. That is why we call that the PPs. And 8 hours for family, friends, and to rest. Because we need to rejuvenate, to come out stronger and better the next day. So you can see that you can do anything, and so most of us now have family business, something that whether salary or no salary, you should be able to draw from at the end of the day, at least to scale up the Maslow hierarchy theory. So you always do the SWOT analysis, understand the strength of every environment, understand the weakness, understand the opportunities and threats. That is why I give it to our Igbo brothers. You don't see them complaining or protesting anywhere, because they are all mostly businessmen. They do it the way they see it. If the government wants, like, let them say tax is 100% tomorrow morning, they will add it up to whatever they are doing. That is why the other time when people were busy protesting in the north, protesting everywhere, they mind their businesses. When I inquired from an Igbo friend, he told me that, look, you put that energy into his business. It is what comes round goes round. And he was right. That is why you see that the Naira amount today will not be the same Naira amount tomorrow. it will depreciate. And there's so many other factors will bring that down. So professional manager in a dynamic economic environment. Professional managers have a Herculean task in managing turbulent economies. The professional manager is expected to do the following: anticipating labor market and economic trends, coordinating workforce investment activities with economic development and education strategies, bringing relevant parties together to address workforce and competitive challenges in a sustainable and collaborative way, promoting the participation of employers in the public workforce investment system, ensuring the effective provision of connecting, brokering, and coaching activities through intermediaries to help employers meet hiring needs and competitiveness concerns, developing linkages with economic development activities, including available state and local economy retention and recruitment activities, devising and overseeing strategies for incumbent workers training, developing layoff aversion strategies, exchanging information about potential dislocations, exploring early interventions and pre-feasibility studies for alternatives. Conclusion: professional managers cannot control the weather. We cannot control the weather, but can design and build a ship and equip it with a leadership team that can navigate the ocean under all weather conditions. Organizations that become more flexible and skillful at making critical decisions when the timing is right have enormous opportunities to capture market and profit from companies that persist in managing as if the future economic environment is reasonably predictable. It is difficult to create a Nostradamus out of a professional manager, because whatever we do is within the confines of bounded rationality. No one can forecast with scientific accuracy what event tomorrow brings. What is critical, however, is that investors need assurance that they have made the right investment choices. That does not remove the uncertainties in life's endeavors, but more information and education helps the professional manager make better decisions, even if the future is not always certain. Intelligent planning does help. I repeat, intelligent planning does help. Uncertainty of life sometimes causes glitches in what would otherwise be a foolproof forecasting formula. Professional managers are no prophet at all. Always have the 5 P's at the back of your mind. Proper preparations prevent poor performance. If you want a year prosperity, grow grains. 10 years prosperity, grow trees. 100 years prosperity, grow people. Thank you. Thank you.